Hello, my name is Tejomaya Bheshaj. I'm a junior at Copley High School in Ohio, and my research paper was about the environmental impacts of nanoparticles. So, as an introduction, nanoscience and nanoparticles is a very emerging science field, and it's starting to integrate into many different fields, such as healthcare, cancer recovery, especially in fields like civil engineering, where they're using nanoparticles in the binding of cement molecules. It's used in the food industry, it's used in the packing industry. It's used pretty much everywhere in modern times. But one of the main hurdles that needs to be jumped over is elimination of environmental proper its attack on the environment and its environmental impacts when it's introduced into its surroundings. With the very unique properties that nanoparticles have and the different nanotechnologies that are synthesized in the lab, it is hard to determine how they will react to the environment and what might happen to the surroundings if it's introduced into consumer use. Because one nanoparticle could be the same size as another nanoparticle, but if it's even like zero point 0.1 nanometers off, it could have a completely different effect and cause many different other reactions. And also factors like pH, temperature, salinity of the water, things like this can all factor into how a nanoparticle could react in the nature. So out of the many various research papers I had looked at and reviewed, I had saw that most researchers and scientists had revealed that nanoparticles pose significant threats to the environment and biological life because of their harmful chemical compositions, and also due to their uncertain shape, size, and chemical properties, as stated before. Many researchers have conducted toxicology studies to accurately determine the risk associated with introducing such particles into the environment, because beforehand, nanoparticles were being used in water treatment. So they had been seeing if the water had been killing this certain species of fish, and they had a control treatment as well. And it had been determined that sometimes the water with the nanoparticles was more harmful and toxic towards the fish. And most the nanoparticles are toxic because they they enable apoptosis in the cells, and also because they're so small, it allows them to penetrate the cell membranes very easily and causes bioaccumulation among many organisms and causes their carbon life to decay. There are many evolving theories on how nanoparticles can be deployed into the environment to solve different problems, such as climate change, water treatment, and pollution in the seas. There's actually a very interesting paper that was explaining how if nanoparticles were designed in a certain way to eliminate all of the problems, the Environmental Protection Agency, or the EPA, could use nanoparticles to battle invasive species and control ecosystems overall, which was, I thought, very interesting. So for my methodology and results, I reviewed, corroborated, and read several research papers and studies to determine whether nanoparticles and nanotechnology have positive environmental impacts on the environment. And overall, nanoparticles, the research papers had stated that nanoparticles are harmful towards the environment because of their toxicity, pollution, bioaccumulation, and ozone depletion. However, many papers also stated that if we were to find a solution to eliminate these problems, we could use nanotechnologies to combat the effects of climate change by using them to improve renewable energy technologies. So how does nanoparticles and nanotechnology affect the environment? All throughout the production, distribution, usage, and disposal of nanomaterial, it is exposed to some aspect of the environment and has huge consequences like environmental degradation and pollution. In fact, most of the time, these nanoparticles are introduced to the air, which brings the question on how they act as an aerosol for the biolife around us. While it would not be safe at present to introduce nanoparticles into the environment, in the future, when the problems have been overcome, nanoscience could be a potential game changer to mitigate the harmful effects of climate change and clean many environmental pollutants in the seas and in the air. Many different energy companies are actually using nanoparticles as catalysts. In fact, nanoparticles are some of the most efficient catalysts on the market and will probably lead us to a safer, better energy source. Now, with my experience about gifted gabber, I would like to thank Dr. Lilova for giving me a clear grasp concept on nanoscience and giving me a great starting point on this research. And I would like to thank Professor Virgil for helping me write a concise, flowing research paper. Thank you.
Wonderful. You can stop sharing. I'll have Professor Lilova ask you a question.
Thank you. That's a very interesting topic, actually, because we are having the nanotechnology on one side and all these increasing applications. With every day, we have new and new applications there, and then we have the environment and all the nanoparticles there. So this is a very evolving question. So, in your opinion, how can we balance between both? Because the progress of the nanotechnology, the applications at the same time, trying to save and protect the environment. What's your personal opinion?
I think that nanoparticles are very helpful, and it's like the new biggest thing. But I think every time we make a new like nanoparticle or synthesize a new thing, we should be very careful and cautious to see its environmental implications.
Thank you.
Excellent. A question from Professor Virgil.
Congratulations, Tej. All right, so I just wanted to ask you, how can your findings be applied in real life setting?
Well, as I stated before in the past example, the EPA could use my findings to battle ecosystem invasive species. Many different companies and environmental groups could use these studies to benefit from water treatment and food safety because nanoscience is actually being deployed into the food industry. So,
Thank you.
Okay, excellent. Thank you so much for being here.